The views and opinions expressed by the On the Spot with David Rodgers show are solely based on the show's host, guests, and viewers. We are solely responsible for all show content in its entirety and does not necessarily reflect the opinions of any sponsors in any way. These broadcasts are presented and made public by the On the Spot with David Rodgers team in the hope that it'll be entertaining and informative to our viewers and listening audience.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, it's 7 o'clock and time for On the Spot with David Rodgers. And now, here he is, Mr. Friday Night, the show pony himself, the man, the dream, the legendary David Rodgers.
Our Lord and Father, we love you, and we thank you for the opportunities we have to come and bring concerns and questions to you, that you listen and that you care enough for us individually and as a family of believers and as a nation, that we can come to you with our concerns, and you allow us the chance to learn and become better people because of what we believe and because of the country that we are in. We thank you for the opportunities that you give us every day, Lord, and we thank you for those that protect those opportunities, the armed forces of the United States. As we say, it's the greatest fighting force in the world today. We thank you for the first responders. We thank you for the farmers, the truckers, the people that make the infrastructure work day after day, that keep us healthy and fed and safe. We thank you for the opportunity be able to gather together in the best nation in the world, where we can speak freely, we can express opinions, we can give ourselves the chance to talk, where other places around this world that's just not possible. We thank you always for the opportunities that you provide to us. We thank you for the food that we receive. We thank you for the opportunities for education. We thank you for the opportunities for growth. And we ask for your blessing on this show and those watching and those of us around this nation and around the world as we move forward. And with all of these, we ask in your Son's name, Jesus Christ. And the congregation said,
Amen. All right. Great prayer. And let us stand for our pledge. And I'm going to ask Mr. Dave Holland, if he would please lead us in our prayer. Our pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Amen. All right. Welcome in, ladies and gentlemen, to On the Spot with David Rodgers. Right here to my right is Mr. Michael Heater. The Dragon Slayer? No, sort of. But Mr. Fantastic, and we'll talk about that here in a little bit. Mr. Byron Bagwell, he'll be joining us here in just a few minutes. And back there in the back, producing the show right there, is the Dancing Destroyer himself, Super Dave Holland. Say hello, David, to everybody.
Hello, everybody.
Everybody, there we go. That works. So, like I said, we got an action-packed show tonight. A lot of things to talk about, a lot of upcoming things. Like I said, we're going to hear from Michael Heater a little bit later on about what he experienced down south with Hurricane Ian and the aftermath of that. We're going to have Byron Bagwell talking on some national and weather world, should I say, news. And, of course, Michael will have the weather here in just a few minutes.
Absolutely.
All right.
Got a quote for me?
I do have a quote for you.
I would love to hear a quote.
Would you? All right. How about this?
Because I have been studying.
Have you?
I am prepared.
You're prepared.
I
All
am
right.
ready for this.
When the whole world is running towards the cliff, he who is running in the opposite direction appears to have lost his mind.
I'm not prepared. I thought I was prepared.
I can give you a hint.
I saw that on TV earlier today.
Okay.
I think, to be honest.
CL. I can't.
He's a writer.
He's a writer, and I do know this one.
Okay, because y'all should have seen it somewhere.
I did see it. I have to say that would be none other than C.S. Lewis.
That's exactly right. Great job. That is Mr. Byron Bagwell's quote of the day.
That is indeed.
So I was like, okay, we'll go ahead. Oh, Shirley Bagwell said Lewis.
Yes,
I guess she would
does.
say that
She
because she follows her son's every move on everything he posts.
Absolutely.
And she remembered that quote. So,
There you go.
Shirley, that was a great guess.
Yeah, that's my family name, Lewis. That's why it stuck to me, but
Yeah.
must have.
I thought your family name was the Dancing Destroyer.
No. It's
That's
Lewis.
my club.
It's
It's
Lewis?
his Lewis. Yeah, his twin brother was Jerry,
Jerry, okay. What?
and his other brother Jerry Lee.
Okay.
Meriwether was in there somewhere.
Hey,
Meriwether.
yeah. Lewis, yeah. How about Lewis and Clark? Was
That's
they?
it.
Yeah,
Meriwether Lewis, that was it. That's
Meriwether
good.
Lewis.
That's very good.
There you go. Very good, Dave. Very good. All right. Hey, don't go anywhere because here comes the round table right after this commercial break.
Oh, yes.
Hey Tornado fans, this is Kurt Miracle of Miracle Automotive and Towing, proud sponsors of Tornado Football. I want to welcome you to beautiful Stark, Florida at David Hurst Stadium, and thank you for letting us be a part of this community. We're here for more than your automotive and towing needs. We're here to be part of Tornado Country. Go Big Red!
This is the round table. We go around the region, around the table with the latest news and notes. Brought to you by Harry Business in the Deerfoot Plaza, home of the $10 haircut. Call Dave and Company at 904-964-3338. Open Monday through Saturday, 9 to 5. Closed on Sundays, but Dave and his crew, if you need a good-looking haircut, his crew will take care of you.
There you go.
We begin in Clay County, where a cooperative effort between Clay County, Bradford County, Alachua County, and state law enforcement searching for a missing woman last night between Camp Blanding and Lottie following a car crash. The woman wandered into the woods after the crash and became lost, but was located after Alachua Sheriff sent a helicopter and dispatchers tracked her cell phone. She was not injured, thank God.
That's exactly right. Scott Cornegay has been selected to be Bradford County's new county manager following last week's commission meeting. Cornegay, a retired Jacksonville firefighter, was city manager for Keystone Heights until he retired from that position, and now serves as the executive director of the Lake Region Development Corporation. He's also a member of the Keystone Airport Authority and the Lake Region Rotary Club.
Kilmore has held a ribbon-cutting ceremony at its new $93 million Trail Ridge plant on Friday, October 14th, in conjunction with the Clay Chamber of Commerce. The company first operated at Trail Ridge as the DuPont Company in 1946. The plant is located near the Clay and Bradford County line near Lottie and processes what?
Ilmenite
And zirconium
right.
in daily mining operations.
There you go. And finally, people have been asking about this one,
Yes,
boy, and
they
they're getting
have.
excited about it. The 2022 Naval Air Station Jacksonville Air Show returns this weekend and promises breathtaking performances and astounding aerial acrobatics over the skies of Northeast Florida and the First Coast. The display will include military aircraft and, of course, the stars of the show. The Blue Angels are returning to their birthplace, expecting over 300,000 people.
Oh, boy.
For the free event. I will say that's a little bit more than Splash Bash. If you want to participate in that one, go early, expect traffic. It will be a large crowd, and traffic is backing up, but you'll be able to watch the show pretty much anywhere along the First Coast beaches.
That sounds great, man. Economists at the University of Florida estimate Hurricane Ian caused up to $1.5 billion in damage to seasonal crops, livestock, nursery, and agricultural products. UF estimates Ian impacted more than 5 million acres of agricultural land. Over 130 people were killed in the storm that made landfall 3 weeks ago, with 61 deaths alone in Lee County, and 3 people are still missing.
Yes, indeed.
Let's take a look at the weather, and some cool, comfortable temperatures are here, right, Mike?
Boy, let me tell you
This
what,
weather
we have
report brought
got
to you by
ourselves
Austin's
some
Weather
amazing
Service out of
temperatures.
Keystone
It is
Heights.
going to be really
Find
cool
Austin's Weather
and
Service on
seasonal.
Facebook and have
It's
a
not
detailed
gonna
local
last
forecast
long.
sent
Let's
right
take a
to
look
you.
at some of the forecast models that we've got here. Let's start with say, I don't know. Let's take a look at the tropics, because this is probably the easiest one to look at.
Right.
There's nothing going on.
Wow.
Now, what's not reflecting in this map is there is a little bit of disturbed weather in the Bay of Campeche. That's the southern part of the Gulf of Mexico. Not tropical in nature. Don't expect that to be any issues at all. Should not be a problem at all. No tropical activity expected for the next 48 hours. I don't think you're going to see anything for the next week or so.
Nice.
We'll just have to see how things progress. Taking a look as we move on, your allergy forecast, that's going to be the other big thing here. Bad news is grass is still an allergy. Good news is the numbers are dropping. We're going to look at some lower numbers in the pollen count as we make our way through the next 5 days. Don't expect there to be any major issues with that. Looks like it's going to be something comfortable for us. And although the temperatures are going to start rising again over the weekend, the pollen count will not be doing that as well. Moving on to the regional forecast. Let's start off with the heading in the north end. Nashville, a high of 58 degrees expected tomorrow. 60 in Atlanta, and starting to warm up as you make your way further south. These are some of the coolest temperatures of the season that we've seen since February of last year. Wow. We're looking at temperatures, you don't even get 70 until you get down to Orlando, and beautiful sunny skies over the next 3 to 4 days, low humidity, seasonal temperatures. It's going to be wonderful. Locally, looking at the next 3 days, it's going to be absolutely just Chamber of Commerce weather, with highs in the upper 60s to around 70 degrees tomorrow. Thursday, beautiful sunshine, and Friday, the same thing with lower 70s. Look for lows to drop out in the low to mid 40s, but you will see a bit of a wind chill Wednesday morning. Expect it to feel like it's at about the mid to upper 30s. You'll need to take a jacket with you, dress in layers for the little kids waiting for the school bus, but make sure that you can get them peeled off so that you can stay comfortable as you make your way through the afternoon. That is the latest from Austin's Weather Service. Dave, we're throwing it back over to you.
All right. So thank you very much, Michael. That is a great weather report. And right now, as I told you, slide on in. Here he is, ladies and gentlemen, the Byron Bagwell. Welcome in, Byron, to the show.
Thanks,
I
brother.
knew you was going to be a little bit late, so we've got you covered. We haven't started your segment yet, so of course you're going to be able to do that. I know you got a lot of things to talk about.
Oh, man.
And I tell you, there's a lot of things going on
Oh,
nationally
man.
and worldly. We got a lot of things going on locally. You like that, worldly?
Worldly.
Worldly.
Worldly is good.
Yeah, worldly's good. So
Swirly.
let's talk about trivia on Wednesday night at Fun Point and Thursday night at the Downtown Grill and Start.
indeed.
All right. Did you do trivia last week?
I did not. So I get
Okay.
back from deployment on Wednesday. It happened to be a certain young lady's birthday.
Yeah.
We did make it to Fun Point, but we did not do trivia. However, we are ready to go tomorrow night, 7 p.m. at Fun Point. We'll be leading off again with answers and questions, giving yourself an opportunity to win $25 for first place, $15 for second. Third place gets you $10 off your food bill. Appetizer poker will be in effect. Name that tune. TV guide trivia. I'm telling you, it's a lot of fun across the board. We start at straight up 7 o'clock on Wednesday night.
Well, you know, Michael, it's funny that you say that because it's been 2 weeks since I've personally done trivia at the Downtown Grill. River Jordan filled in for me 2 Thursdays ago.
Yep.
I hear he did a great job. So thank you very much, River Jordan, for filling in. And then last week, of course, I was not competing against Tornado World. If anybody was there was 3,000 plus people there.
It was packed.
It was packed, dude, and
Oh
I
my
wasn't
gosh, it
about
was
to.
amazing.
I wasn't about to compete with that. I told Chrissy, I was like, no, ma'am. We close it down every year. So I'm back now Thursday night, because Michael's doing it tomorrow night. I'm back Thursday night. And Thursday night's trivia answer is, it's so funny that Byron is sitting here. Byron, do you want to tell him what the word is?
Inflation.
Inflation. I want to tell y'all something just really quick. Gas here, regular gas, 87 octane is $3.40, $3.46. Diesel is $5.48.
Oh, trust me. I know
Why? And you know that better than I do as
indeed.
well, because my truck that I do my lawn service with takes diesel.
Yep.
Why is there such a difference between 87 and diesel? And I know for a fact that it's cheaper to make diesel. Why all of a sudden the big hike, a $2 spread?
Diesel, the price of diesel has never made sense to me, other than the fact that big trucks and companies have to buy it to move their products.
Right.
Because diesel, as he just said, is a byproduct of gasoline. It just does not make sense. It does not cost hardly anything for them to make it, because they're making gasoline, and it is a byproduct of gasoline.
Yeah.
It just makes absolutely no sense at all.
Yeah, and it's funny because a lot of the guys that work with me got these big diesel trucks, and they're like, David, man, why is the... and I couldn't answer it, man. I mean, it's like you said. I said it's the cheapest thing to make as far as a petroleum product goes. Yep. And why there's a $2.50 hike from 87 to diesel, I don't get.
Well, go back and look at how much gas was and diesel was 4 years ago.
Well, of course, yeah.
And even 3 years ago. Look at the price differences in the gasoline and the diesel. And then ask yourself, because these are questions you all need to be thinking about very soon, because there is a very important election coming up.
3 weeks.
And ask yourself if your representatives are doing what they can for you, because they're not.
And we'll get into that in your segment. You're exactly right. We talked a little bit about this, and he is exactly right. We'll get into that here in a little bit. Now, everyone's favorite segment that brings back a little history, brought to you by our great media partners, WEAG Eagle Country 106.3 FM, Chuck and Mary Kramer and Lynn Bellis, mine and Byron's bosses on Friday nights. Michael's boss when he does some recordings, and I think you'd think so probably get some here. I've heard through the grapevine. Heard through the grapevine. And the Bradford County Telegraph and their great staff, including owner John Miller, editor-in-chief Mark Crawford, the ad guru himself, John Ryan Tillman, and, of course, Mr. Photogenic himself, Cliff Smelly. Here's what's the date. These are the headlines from the Bradford Telegraph during the third week of October in what year?
I'm gonna pause that and tell you
Okay.
I had fun with this one.
Okay, good.
We're gonna test your memory now.
Oh boy, here we
go.
Lottie man loses life at railroad crossing. Man charged with assault holding woman hostage. Sheriff's office honors community volunteers. And medal to be awarded for World War II service. How about that? Was that the third week of October of 2010, David? Of 2015? Or of 2020? So we got 10, 15, and 20. Lottie man loses life at railroad crossing. Man charged with assault holding woman hostage. Sheriff's office honors community volunteers, and medal to be awarded for World War II service. Was it the third week of October of 2010, third week of October of 2015, or 2020? Mike, I'll read the first one. You can read the second one. You read the third one, and I'll read the fourth one, I guess. Or I'll pick one of you to do it. 19-year-old Jarvis Brown was struck and killed by a freight train as he walked his bicycle across the tracks at Middleburg Road in Lottie. One train had passed going north. After the train passed, Brown began to cross, not seeing, Byron, the southbound train moving at 60 miles an hour.
Ricky Thomas of Stark was arrested after allegedly assaulting a woman holding her against her will. Thomas was charged with false imprisonment, and bond was set at $260,000.
Mike, I'll read the third one. You read the fourth.
Okay.
The Bradford County Sheriff's Office held its annual volunteer appreciation banquet at the Stark Women's Club with Barbara Walter and Becky Scott named Volunteers of the Year.
Yes, indeed. And finally, Representative Cliff Stearns. That's a clue. Representative Cliff Stearns presented the Congressional Gold Medal to the husband of a World War II pilot. Leslie Williams was a member of the WASP, a group of female civilian pilots who flew military aircraft in non-combat roles during World War II. Stearns presented the award to the husband, Norman Williams, at a ceremony at the Keystone Airport.
Wow, great clues. Lottie man loses life at railroad crossing. Man charged with assault holding woman hostage. Sheriff's Office honors community volunteers and medal to be awarded for World War II service. Was that the third week of October 2010, of 2015, or 2020? Ladies and gentlemen, this is where you can participate. All you got to do is get the right guess, David. Michael's going to put your name on the computer at the end of the month. He's going to take all those names, make a little piece of paper, boom, throw them in the big fire hat, the big fire hat, and then when we come back, the first week of November, we're going to pull a winner, and you have a chance to win a $25 gift certificate to the Downtown Grill. Downtown Grill, great food, great service, great place to eat. Visit the Downtown Grill.
I've even heard they have pretty decent trivia.
On Thursday nights only.
There you go. Okay.
So, and Wednesday nights at Fun Point only. I got you. All right, here we go. This is where you take a guess right here. Let me welcome some people in. Randy Brooks is on.
Hey, Randy.
Say hello to your mother.
Hey, Randy. Hey, Mom.
Harold Sokoloff is watching. How about that? Ready? 1, 2, 3. Hello, Alvy! Tammy Testone and Alvy's watching.
There we go.
Dave Holland, look, the dancing destroyer. Look at him right there. He's like, what
look.
the heck? That's a good look for you there, David.
Yes, it is.
Lynn Bergman's watching. Eddie Sigmund's watching. Lisa Riley from no, she's from here. I know Lisa Riley back home, too, as well. Okay. Billy Rayberg. Are you on your men's night, Billy? I hope so. Michael Box is on. Byron Bagwell's watching.
Can I take a second?
Hey, Bird.
Billy Rayberg, thank you. Love the video that you shot of the homecoming parade featuring the Fantastic Fire Brigade. I stole a little snapshot of that one. It was my honor to be a sponsor of the 12 guys in bow ties and the 12 girls in pearls. Billy shot a video of it. Turned out really well, so I just want to say thank you.
There we go. All right. J.J. Thompson's watching.
Hey, J.J.
Draven Grimes, David Rodgers. Been a long time since we've been face to face. Well, what is this? Here we go. Oh, boy, it's a long one.
It's a long one.
You must be confused on who this is. A long time ago, a 19-year-old redhead walked into the Stark Fairgrounds and shook your hand. You may remember me as Robbie, but I assure you Robbie is long gone. You see, after you ran everyone off, after you forced us to shut the doors of one of the best promotions in Florida, you forced people to go out and become something else. And that is what's happened here. You see, David Rodgers, I see right through you. I see exactly what you are trying to do. It has been announced that you will be a special guest at Legacy Classic Championship Wrestling presents Legacy Reborn on November 12th in Palatka, Florida. David Rodgers, you need to understand something like that. Unlike everyone else in the office or like everyone else in the LCCW locker room, you can't fool me because I see right through your charade. You are a human cancer in professional wrestling. And I, Draven Grimes, and my cohorts, the Forbidden Kingdom, will do to you what should have been done 10 years ago, and that is take you behind the barn and put you down. This is your only warning. Stay away from Legacy Classic Championship Wrestling. Stay away from my domain, or you will pay the toll.
Ha, ha, ha. That is a challenge.
That sounds like...
David, you've been with me a long time. You've been with me through the CWA days.
Yes, sir.
Draven Grimes, whoever he is, doesn't know me very well.
He's new in the business.
Yeah, well, he said he was. I shook his hand back in the day.
Yeah.
Mr. Draven Grimes, we're coming November the 12th. You've scared nobody off here. David, you're going to be filming. Byron, you're going to be there. Mr. Michael Heater's going to be there. Mr. Mitchell Gunner's going to be there. And I can assure you, don't let this belly and don't let this 60-year-old man fool you. I can still work. And I am more than up for the challenge. But look, I'm not there to... We're there as guests of Pepper Autistic.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
She invited us to the show. I have no beef with anybody at LCCW. Obviously, you got a young man here in his Forbidden Kingdom wanting to talk a lot of garbage. So we're going to show up. We're going to get introduced. We're going to tell everybody about our show. Yeah. And I don't work anymore. But obviously, he thinks I must still be trying to work. So we're coming there. We're going to get introduced. We're going to be just like anybody else. and we're going to do our business. Whatever happens, happens, is all I got to say.
There you go.
So don't get fooled that, hey, just because you see a little belly here, and I'm 60 years old now, David,
I've seen
you see me put down some big boys, haven't you?
I've seen you put some big boys down.
Big Kool-Aid, remember him? 375?
Yeah.
He took a tail whooping, didn't he?
Wild man.
Yeah, Wild Man Brody, Rick the Reaper.
Yeah.
So,
Both of them at one time.
yes. So, I know you guys got my back.
Oh, yeah.
I know you guys got my back.
Well,
We're not worried about this. We're going. Pepper Autistic, thank you for the invitation. Ricky Autistic, thank you for the invitation. We'll be there.
Yeah.
November 12th, 6:30, and I'll go over that here in just a few minutes. Wow. So we get this kind of dadgum feed on the thing. Here we go. He's blowing sunshine. There we go. Randy Scoggins here. We'll get into that in a minute, B. I see you looking at me. Joel Davis is watching. Ricky Autistic. Again, thank you for the invite, Ricky. I know you probably ain't got nothing to do with this, so I appreciate it. Renee Stegall Shaw from Pascagoula, Mississippi is watching.
How was it?
It was good, and I'll talk about that here in just a few
Okay,
minutes.
good.
Yeah, it was really good.
Good.
Austin Stevens, our weather guy and our YouTube guy. Austin, thank you for tuning in. Thank you for what you do for us each and every week. Shirley says the sound keeps breaking up, David, but I think David's got that fixed by now.
Yep.
Samantha Cook is watching. Susan Cunningham, hello to you.
Hey, Susan.
D.A. Dennis Cruz, and it's crazy. Gasoline is more dangerous than diesel. Think the smell of gas will make lighthead and the gas will explode, but diesel will not do that. Yeah.
Valid point.
Susan Cunningham again. Rebecca Griffiths is on. We got that problem fixed, Pepper. And again, thank you for the invite. All right, here we go.
Oh, okay.
Susan Cunningham, 2015.
Hold on.
Okay, no problem. Yeah.
There it goes. It's
Okay.
just frozen again.
Randy Brooks, 2015.
Okay.
Draven Grimes. Must be using that old CWA video and audio. Typical after 12 years, he wouldn't update his second-rate gear. I really need to meet this Draven Grimes. What you got there? Okay. Tammy Testone says 2015.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah. We'll leave that there.
Yeah, I almost said that.
Yeah, I know.
David,
I didn't want. Yeah, I got
kids
you.
watching this.
Pepper Autistic 2015. Hey, David, I understand that you're coming to LCCW. I have been getting quite a few emails. There's a lot of wrestlers that don't like you for some reason. Do not know why. I do. I need to get that because I whooped them all. And there's Dave Holland right here to attest to that.
whooped them all.
Yeah, so there you go.
Well, if I
Why
can
do
get
I
that-
need to get extra security to make sure you guys are okay? We're not asking you. We're not asking you to get extra security. Well, I told you where I'm coming there for. You and your mother invited us to come to a show
That's right.
to meet and greet the fans, and we're going to talk about our show, and that's it. Why this Draven Grimes has got a problem with me or any of my guys, doesn't have a problem with any of these guys because he hasn't said about these guys.
Yeah.
Seems to have a problem with me, but hey, we're coming there to do our business, and that's it. Right? And whatever happens, boys, happens.
I'm there to promote wrestling for the guys. But
Yeah, I'm there to help promote the show and promote our show.
That's it.
yeah,
So, I don't know.
What else you got?
All right. Richard Lindsay's watching. Roy Jackson said 2015. Carla Biggs Acreage. You remember Carla?
Yes.
Carla's watching. Hello,
Hey,
Carla,
Carla.
from Mississippi up there in the Hurley area there. And Melba B. Johnson's watching. All right, Byron.
Hey, no.
Go to you. What do you got? What do you say?
well, 2010.
2010, Byron says. David?
Wow, the train incident, there's been many people killed on that track.
It's true.
True, very.
I'm going to say 2010
You're going to go 2010.
comes to my
It
mind.
comes to your mind. Okay? The Stearns things come to my mind. I'm going to go 2015.
Okay.
I know you can't answer. I don't have any more.
Well,
Oh, well, wait a minute here. Pepper says, I didn't invite you. Ricky Autistic invited you. Is there some shenanigans going on?
What?
Yeah, well, I'm not sure here.
Sounds
We
like
may have a leader of that, whatever force that
Was
is.
that confused within the ranks?
Yeah, confusion within the ranks over there. That's what I got to say about that. So, anyway, I don't have any more guesses.
All right.
Oh, Shirley, 2015. I'm sorry.
Oh,
Yeah, put her in.
okay.
All right, here we go. See who's got the name. Drum roll, and Michael's got it right there. Wait for
I
it.
like it. It was a tough
Oh! Do you know what that means? Nobody here's got it.
Nobody got
There
it.
is no names getting put in there.
That means I get your certificate,
2010.
Yeah, you get your name put in.
Okay, that sounds good.
Yeah, no. Good job. 2010. Yeah.
Yep. So
Nobody, right? Not
Byron
as far
Dave
as I seen.
Byron
And Dave Holland.
got it right. Nobody else did. This
Nobody-
was a bit of a toughie. We went back a little ways.
Sure.
Yeah, but the Stearns thing.
Stearns,
Is that what threw you?
Stearns thing gave
Maybe I
Stearns
just
gave
got
it
it confused with 20. You know what I'm saying? 20. I didn't realize that was 2010 when that happened.
He's been out of office for a while.
Yeah, he has too.
Exactly.
You're right.
Yeah,
So,
exactly.
all right. Next week we'll have a full list of all the spooktacular fall festival events coming up, including the Great Pumpkin Escape and Start, Boo on the Boulevard in Keystone, and fall festivals in Brooker, Waldo, Lottie, and more. Be sure to tune in next week for all the times and locations. Michael will be putting that together. We'll also have that on our page, but we'll go over that as well. I've just got a couple of things, Mike, that I want to go over before we get into some other things here.
Okay.
Again, the On the Spot with David Rodgers crew and the On the Spot Motorsports have been invited to a live pro wrestling event. LCCW, an independent wrestling company, has invited us to be at their next wrestling show, November 12th at Legacy Reborn. That will be at the Calvary Missionary Baptist Church at 1414 Bronson Street in Palatka. Show starts at 6:30. Tickets are $12 for adults. Children under 5 is free. And again, I don't know what's going on here.
That's the 12th.
The 12th, yes.
Okay, so that's Veterans Day weekend.
Yes.
Okay.
So, you got anything going on right now?
Oh, well, just a reminder that weekend also is Crawling for the Fallen. That will be the major
jeez,
event
yeah.
going on at Keystone Airport and the Firm. There's also several other events going on around the region. So if you're going to be going out for that holiday weekend, that would be a great event to take in Palatka, as well as that as well.
I'm losing guys left and right. Let me tell you why. My buddy wants to be there. My backup wants to be there, but he's going to be in Oklahoma on a hunting trip.
Oh.
What day
Yeah,
did you say?
November 12th. You leaving November 12th?
I think I leave that following Wednesday.
The following Wednesday. So you will be there. Okay.
Unless you're leaving sooner, which would make you a Sooner.
An Oklahoma Sooner.
An
How
Oklahoma
about that? No.
No.
All right. Michael Heaters should be there. I hope if I can get him away from crawling from the fallen.
That's the plan. We'll see.
Now,
about
I might
that.
have some of that Cherokee from Cherokee County, Oklahoma.
Yeah, there you go.
Not the Sooner part.
Not Sooner. Yeah, that's fine.
Well, Dalton Hartsfield, I guess one of their writers or whatever he does, he says that Draven Grimes dude is a real prick, isn't he? Well, yeah. Well, again, I don't know Draven Grimes.
Yeah, well,
I guess we'll find out. But anyway, Mitchell Gunner said he's going to be there, so we'll be there full force no matter what.
No matter what. That's
All right. BHS Lady Tornadoes are in the district volleyball playoffs over in Palatka tonight. They're in the semifinal game. David, do we have any update on results yet?
No.
No, nothing yet.
No, the Bradford Middle School football game was canceled tonight due
Okay.
to an issue with the opposing
Yes,
team.
team, yeah.
So the players that were going to be recognized, I believe, are going to be recognized at the Friday night game.
Really?
And
Oh, that's
it'll be
awesome.
middle school and high school players will be recognized. At
So
halftime.
that'll happen during senior night over at.
Yes.
Okay.
Exactly. So it'll be both going on at halftime.
All right. Our very own senior running back, Manny Covey, the Cincinnati Bearcat commit, is up for the State of Florida Player of the Week as he had 15 carries for 217 yards and 2 touchdowns and a long run of 71 yards. Go vote at FloridaHighSchoolFootball.com and on Twitter at ScoutSmart. Tuesday through Thursday, we want Manny Covey to win this award.
Now, while we're
Okay.
talking, I'm going to see if I can pull up the link and see where we are with the voting.
Oh, okay. Yeah, Michael's going to keep doing that.
I'm just curious at this point.
Me
I need to
too.
pull
It
up-
started.
Do I need to pull up Score Stream and figure out the volleyball for you? Real quick?
Unless Dave's got it. But yeah, if you can, that'll be great. All right, Friday night is camo night at the football game as the 5-2 Dunellen Tigers come calling to David Hurst Stadium for senior Camo night. So, like the first 100 or 200 people get some kind of camo thing.
Oh.
A hat or something, yeah.
I thought you were telling me.
Well,
I could wear it.
we
Wear it.
can. You got a Bradford camo thing?
No, I don't.
Me neither. Maybe we can find one.
Possibly.
That would be awesome, wouldn't it?
Yes, it would be.
Let's try to check that out. Anyway, that ought to be a good football game. 7-0.
Wow.
Ho ho! You just read it.
Okay, so here's the deal. If you go to our page, I will put it on our page after the show tonight. Go ahead and go to On the Spot with David Rodgers on Facebook. You'll be able to vote for the high school football player of the week in the state of Florida. So far, 106 votes have been cast. There's one vote for Rodney Hill, and there's another vote for DJ Moore, and 104 votes for running back Manny Covey. Looking pretty good so far, but that doesn't mean it's going to stick once the word gets out about that one. So we encourage you to go. We'll have this posted. I will get this posted on Spot with David Rodgers page. Make sure that you vote on Facebook as soon as the show's over. Don't do it now. You'll miss this guy and you miss that guy. But you want to make sure that you vote for Manny Covey for the Florida High School Football Player of the Week.
Yeah, and I tell you, Friday night again is camo night.
Yep.
They don't have nothing. There's nothing there. Well,
That is really
Yeah,
odd
I
coming
don't-
from that app.
yeah, I'm not sure. But anyway, Dave's trying to get a hold of Liz now to find out. So we'll give you an update on that. Good luck, girls. Hopefully y'all can pull that off. So y'all will be in the championship game
Good.
Thursday night, right? Be Thursday night, I think, on that championship game, right?
Yeah, I believe so. That's
Okay.
correct, yes.
So anyway, the 7-0 Bradford Tornadoes, 1 touchdown scored on them all year. Hey, no 100-yard game for anybody. The Tornadoes defense, man, is coming to play, and Dunellen better watch out. Dunellen's going to bring a pretty good football team in here. Me and Byron's been searching them up. They got some good athletes. They're going to give the Tornadoes a test. I just still think the Tornadoes has got this in their mind. Rodgers and the staff has got them just playing out of their minds right now. They know what the big prize could be at the end of this whole journey. And that would be, I would love for Michael and the sheriff and everybody, whoever's involved, to put up a big sign out there and says FHSA 2S state champions.
Absolutely.
Right there on 301 and everywhere else you can post it, because I'm going to tell you right now, you can't find a bigger Bradford Tornado fan besides maybe Billy than Sheriff Gordon Smith and probably Cindy Futch. Those three really,
She's a big player.
yeah,
She's big.
she would be a big player in this, and I can assure you, Gordon will find the money or find the resources to put those state championships up so everybody can see it as they come through here. That's all I got on the local level, Mike. Do you have anything else? I know we'll talk about some of these things coming up. Do you have anything else?
Just the usual routine city commission meeting for the city of Stark meeting tonight, going over some budgetary issues that they've been dealing with. Nothing out of the ordinary. At the county level, of course, the Cornegay, the new county manager, is going to be taking office once they settle on a contract with him. That should work out pretty well. Plans are in full swing for the fall festival events. We're going to talk about that next week. But 2 major events that you're going to want to be involved in, whether you as a spectator or as a participant. On December 3rd, Saturday, the Green Cove Springs Christmas Parade will be kicking off, starting at 2 p.m. It is expected to be, I think it's 2 o'clock. It's expected to be the largest, it's the second largest event in Clay County behind the fair. If that tells you how big this event is. That's going to be in Green Cove Springs on the 3rd. That morning, the Mary Melrose Christmas Parade will be kicking off at 10 o'clock in the morning in Melrose along State Road 26. The following week, you've got the Christmas parades in Keystone and in Stark. They'll be at 6 p.m. On the 10th, so they'll be going on at the same time. We also got some Christmas events going on all around the region, including Lake Butler, Alachua, Gainesville, and sort of thing like that. Again, as we get closer to those, we'll make sure that we post those on our page for you guys to review.
All right, sounds very good right there. I want to welcome in Dalton. Hey, I appreciate it. Much love to you, brother. I don't know what's going on, man. You may want to check your locker room back there. I'm not sure what the heck's happening. Jimmy Bowers from Lake City's watching. I work with Jimmy Bowers, Tracy Key O'Neill. How about that? She's watching. And Fish and Nana, I'm going to ask you a question because I don't know. Okay. She says, okay, I'm out of the loop. What was TV 20 doing this afternoon at the high school? Do you know?
I do not.
The only thing that I could think of would be interviewing Manny Covey.
That is a very good possibility.
Would be interviewing Manny Covey because is that who's putting that on the player? I know this is somebody else doing it, but don't Channel 20 do a player because Jason Clark won it last week.
Yes.
So that could be what's going on. Fish and Nana, we'll find out. Michael's going to find out.
I'll do some digging. We'll find out and make sure we see what's going on with that.
All right. Hey, David Rodgers, do you know what's going on at the end of my road, 38th Avenue and County Road 125? All they are showing is firearm discharge too close to home. They have it all roped off. You know anything going on over there? I did see when I left my house.
There's an active police investigation regarding some activity that happened along County Road 125 involving some shots that were fired. I do know that there is no threat to the public. However, if you're going to be passing along that area along 125, suggest that you just avoid the area, use alternate routes if you can. The scene has been secured. Multiple law enforcement is on scene regarding an altercation. No injuries, and there is no threat to the public at this time. The scene has been rendered safe according to preliminary reports. But again, just your best to just kind of stay out of the area and let the detectives and the deputies do their.
And as I was leaving, I didn't get because I thought you was in the commissioner's meeting because I was going to call you about it. Yeah. But as I was leaving, I was talking to Dave. Dave, when I pulled out of my driveway, I usually go to the right and take the back roads. Yeah. But I seen some blue lights. It's just like 6 houses down from my house. Right. That was going on. So I seen the blue light, so I just went back the opposite way.
And 125 was closed earlier. It was reopened about 5-10 minutes ago. So again, the road is open and everything's safe. There's no threat to the public. But again, while their investigation is continuing, it's best if you just kind of seek an alternate route as you make your way through.
All right. The answer to the what's the date was 2010, Susan Cunningham. Yes. And Michael can attest to you. Nobody got it. Nope. None of our viewers.
None of the viewers got it.
Byron and Dave got it. Good job by those guys, but none of our viewers got it. And Fish and Nana said that's probably it. They were probably interviewing Manny Covey, and that's exactly what was going on.
Davey treats us like redheaded stepchildren. You know that?
Yeah.
I mean, don't even get our names in the hats when we get stuff right. You see this, man? Come on.
Man.
Hey, all you're doing is fueling that fire for LCCW, aren't you? Just fueling that fire, aren't you? But anyway,
hey, like I wrote down.
Yeah.
Like I wrote down.
Yeah, like you wrote down. Anyway, Michael asked me how the reunion went, and I will. Tanya Martin, thank you for tuning in. And Renee if she's still on, it went very well. We had about 75 to 80. Pretty much steady most of the night there. Went from 6 to 10. Had some finger food, snacks, things like that. Played music, danced. Everybody got together and did a little talking. I have a video out there. If you want to, have you had a chance to go back and watch that yet?
I did. I was curious to know how many autographs you signed.
Yeah. Well, I know it, man. The way they was talking, man. Hey, how about them that follow Bradford Tornado football? Did you listen to some of that?
Oh, yeah.
Andy Leslie, one of my friends, and Doug Robichaud, one of my friends, says, we follow Tornado football religiously.
As well you should.
And as well you should, because you may get a state championship out of this. Pascal will probably, they'll probably be in the playoffs. I don't know if they're gonna be able to go all the way. But this team right here is something very special. But they listen and watch all the time. So, yeah.
6-0?
7-0. 7-0, looking to go 8-0 and try to not allow a touchdown again, or any points to be for that matter. Byron brought me to a good point, and that is the best defense that was ever was in 1986?
87, 88, I believe. Now, there's another viewer that actually played on this football team, so he can correct me if I'm wrong about this. But they allowed 7 points the whole year into the playoffs. And then lost by two. Okay. By 2 to Santa Fe to play for the state championships, for a chance to play for the state.
So, right now, Bradford is tied with that team as far as regular season points.
I believe that's what he said.
Yeah.
And I've also had another person that was actually playing on another championship team that told me that I should have seen the defense back then. But
wow.
It's been a long time ago. A very, very long time ago.
Okay, well, so anyway.
And those were state championship teams.
Yeah, the 65-16?
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, Michael Thompson's on. He's watching. But anyway, the reunion went great. Everything went great. We had a great time. It was long, long overdue, especially for me. I hadn't seen some of those people in 30, 35 years. I mean, it was just crazy how some people his age, some hadn't. You know, there was a couple of guys, man, that I looked at and go,
Who are you?
do you ever age?
Yeah.
Oh,
My friend Andy Leslie, I swear to God, he looks like he's 30.
Wow.
Some people age good,
Age
some
well.
people age well, and some don't. You know, some of the women that still look the same. I mean, you know, some as everybody is still
People
look
age differently.
age differently.
Age like fine wine. I age like milk.
Okay, give me the punchline.
No, that was it.
That was it.
I age like spoiled milk.
Curves.
Anyway,
So,
yeah.
all right. So anyway, that's how that went. If you wanted to watch that, you can go back on my my personal Facebook page and watch that. The video is out there. There's pictures out there and stuff. So, very good time. Anything else, Mike, on the local level?
Nothing on the local level. Again, just some. We'll keep up with some of the local breaking news, but at
Okay.
this point, nothing of any major significance going on at this point.
All right. David, do we want to take a commercial break and pay a couple of bills before we let Byron get into his segment? No, let's just go with it. All right. All right, ladies and gentlemen, here he is. Couple of minutes late, but he's here. You've already heard him. He is the color commentator also for the Bradford High School Tornadoes, and he works for Haven Hospice and does a fine job, just like a fine wine. Here he is, the Byron Bagwell. How about
Saban
that?
is the leading firm in Florida with 8 offices from the Panhandle to the Florida Keys to handle your claims for personal injury, workplace violations, and PIP. Schuster and Saban law offices for all your legal needs.
And now, with the latest national and international update, here is Your World Report with Byron Bagwell.
All right, we're back right here, of course, with the segment, Byron Bagwell segment. We like to call it the World News and Report, but hey, you know, Byron, we could call it a little bit of everything, national, world, local, regional. You always talk about different things, and you've always got a great category to talk about, and I'm sure that you've been thinking about some things to talk about because we haven't had a show really in 2 weeks, let's call it that, you know, since the last time we were on the air. I know you were talking about some things. But hey, I'm going to let you have it right now, man, and tell our viewing audience what you have on that brainy mind of yours.
Good evening, brothers and sisters.
Finish it up.
Patriots,
Miscreants?
miscreants, and infidels.
There you go. Okay.
I wanted to say one thing before I talked a little bit. It is so important for you to vote in this
Thank
election.
you.
It will help control the things that are going on. We say this about every single election. But it is really important this election for you to vote. Because there are not a lot of things that are going right in this country right now. And your voice needs to be heard. If you can sit and think about what's going better right now than they were going 4 years ago, 5 years ago, and you can think of anything, I can't. And it has nothing to do with Democrats or Republicans. It has to do with the fact that the group that's in there right now are not doing what they're supposed to do. And that is represent the American people. And they're not doing that. You need to voice your displeasure by voting. The clearest message you can send these people is to remove them from office. Please go vote. This country has to start turning around, and soon, because we have a severely bad problem right now, and it is our debt, and it's going to end up killing us. We can go over all the problems that are going on right now. We have foreign countries coming in and buying up property in our country. You say, how can a foreign country come in and buy up property? Well, it's really simple. Because in places like communist China, there may be a group of people who own a business, but without the communist Chinese government, those group of people do not own those businesses. They are funded by the Chinese government, and they are controlled by the Chinese government. So you know what that means? They control the properties and the businesses that are in this country, and they're buying up things like the cattle farms at an unbelievably alarming rate.
Absolutely.
Russia's doing the same thing. This should never be allowed. There should be laws made to where they can't. Period. Well, how do you keep an individual from doing that? Well, you can't keep individuals from doing that or companies from doing that. But you can put countries that are on an unfavorable list, you can stop them from doing that because we know that their governments control their people and their companies. Because sooner or later that's going to bite us. They're doing it with pharmaceuticals. They're doing it with rare metals, which control a bunch of things from fighter jet parts to just all sort of things. That's going
To
on.
welding parts. You know, Byron, I tell you, I'm having problem getting MIG guns right now because of the brass and the copper and everything that's put inside those guns to keep them insulated. So the guys don't burn their hands when they grab that gun to weld. Right. I'm having trouble getting MIG guns.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable.
MIG, right?
MIG guns.
Yeah.
MIG welding.
What about technology?
Well, I mean, see, that's the other thing.
Oh, Byron, can I stop you real quick?
Sure.
Your Lady Tornadoes, our Lady Tornadoes volleyball team just swept the Palatka Panthers in the second round of districts and are headed to the championship game this Friday night. Nice. Go Tornadoes, go Big Red.
Beautiful.
All right.
Which means we'll see if we can stay on top of that, and we'll make sure that we get that to you.
So I can make it during the broadcast.
During the broadcast and during the game.
I wonder.
Congratulations, ladies.
Yeah, congratulations. That is awesome news right there. Dude, I have to ask Liz. They play at 6, don't they? Don't they start early?
They do start at 6.
So we should get something probably during the pregame show of what's going on there, Michael.
Yeah.
So
we'll see if we can stay on top.
I'm sorry, man. I didn't mean to interrupt. We were waiting for that update.
That is a really good interruption because I was listening to a ton of really bad things that are going on, and that is a light right there. That's a good thing the kids played well.
Well, my granddaughter plays on that team.
Of course, yeah.
Yes.
Riley.
And
Takira, I love Takira too.
Oh, yes.
Love Takira.
Yes. Congratulations once again.
I love
ladies.
them all, man.
Me
They're
too.
all great
They're
girls.
all good. So, all right, sorry about that, baby.
No, don't be. Like I said, don't be sorry. That's a good break in the middle of this.
Which begs a question, real quick, and I want you to continue because you've piqued my interest with land purchases.
Mm-hmm.
And this sounds rather elementary, and I apologize in advance for sounding so, uninformed. But do they pay property taxes? I mean, do these countries actually pay us taxes for the land that they possess? And if so, is it possible that if there's not any kind of tax exchange, that the tax rate maybe could vary between a government versus private entities, and is that then could potentially lead to eminent domain?
Well, here
and that's a lot of question, I know, but
I know what you're getting at. Yes, the companies have to pay property taxes. There are loopholes in that, and ways companies get around paying lots of property taxes. Right. They're already marked as farmland, so they don't pay quite as much to begin with. But there are other things they can do to get away from property taxes too. The problem with saying that it is another country that's buying this out is legally it's not another country that's buying it out. But in reality, it's a corporation and corporations. That is a bad word that we have labeled corporations bad. You know what a corporation is? Do any of y'all understand what a corporation is? It's a group of people who've invested in a company, and they elect presidents and vice presidents Their shareholders do that. You're talking about a group of Americans owning a business. It's not just 2 or 3 evil people sitting up there going,
Right.
we're going to steal all your money. There are laws made for those people that run those companies that are beholden to those shareholders. It sort of works like a democracy, is what it sort of does. Corporations are not evil. Corporations are made up of a bunch of Americans who want to make, guess what?
Money.
But when you start talking about corporations coming from
China.
Russia, the governments control those. Well, those are individual citizens, and they have the rights to do that. They shouldn't when they're beholden to a country that controls their populace to the point of at the point of a gun. They just shouldn't.
Well, China buys all the meat, packages it, maybe not in this country,
And then sends it back.
and then sends it back and sells it to us for a higher price.
Sure they do.
Exactly.
We've outsourced a whole bunch of things like that. Another one that scares me is pharmaceuticals.
Yep.
I think the number is something like 85% of our pharmaceuticals come from China.
That's right.
Or maybe it was 85% of our antibiotics. I can't remember.
I want to say it was the whole total pharmaceuticals.
But all it takes is China to go, nope.
Yeah.
Do you know how many people in this country will die if China says no?
See, and that is the reason why they've got us over a barrel.
Get us from
Shouldn't
the
have us over-
inside out.
Shouldn't have us over a barrel at all, but certain politicians are beholden to the Chinese government because their families have investments in China. And guess what happens to investments in China? Those people who have companies that are in China, guess who also owns that company? The Chinese government. So when you're talking about things like Hunter Biden's laptop and Hunter Biden's business ventures in China, and wondering why all the Republicans are making such a big deal out of it, it's not just that he's a Democrat. Anybody that has that, I have a serious issue with the minority leader in the Senate because his wife has business holdings in China. As a matter of fact, I think she's Chinese.
Yeah. I believe you're correct on that.
So any of our government officials that are having anything to do with any of these countries that do that to their people and control their people like that, I have serious issues with it. Everybody should. They should never be allowed to buy property inside of the United States. The reason these farmers are selling this stuff out is because they're coming to them with unbelievable loads of money going, I will buy this from you at 2 or 3 times
What you paid for.
Value, yeah.
the value of your farm. And people aren't, I mean, unless you're an old school farmer that's going to go, this is my daddy's land, my grandfather's land, my great-grandfather's land, get away from me. That's not going to happen. They're going to sell that and then they're going to go live however they want to because that's what people do. If you had the opportunity to sell something and you're getting a little bit older, like a cattle farm, because that is hard. That is extremely hard work.
Absolutely.
So if you have an opportunity to do that and they're offering you 3 times what it's worth, and you can go vacation for the rest of your life, or hunt, or fish, or do, spend time with your family, however you want to, most people are going to go, okay,
Bye.
I'll go buy a home in Maui.
Yeah.
But there needs to be just an absolute utter screeching halt stop to that.
Well, and Byron, let me ask you this: why aren't we policing this more? And I know when
I gave you part of the answer.
you gave me part of that
because
but-
of my problem with the politicians and their family members being involved with the Chinese government through their businesses.
But why don't we have a committee or should we, maybe we do, a committee of senators and House of Representatives, representatives to police this stuff. Take a look at it. Why? Because they're probably
We're
underhanded
we're
too.
a free country, and that's like telling us we can't.
No, I'm talking about when a Chinese, as Byron used the word, corporation comes over here and wants to buy up 10 million acres of so-and-so land. Why aren't we stepping in and going, well, wait a minute, why aren't we questioning this? Why aren't we going, hey, what do you want to do with this land? What is your intentions? What is this? What is that? You know what I'm saying?
I think Bill Clinton made that happen during the NAFTA program.
Bill Clinton made a lot of things go on. He sold our military secrets to the Chinese
too. That's what I'm saying.
There's very few people that still know about that. I've talked about it a little bit before. But
I just don't understand why it's not police more. I mean,
Absolutely.
Well, it's not police more because so many of the politicians in Washington D.C. have their hands in the pocket of the Chinese government.
Yeah,
that's why it's not. That's why it's not. If you do this, we'll give you all of this money. We will set your children up with businesses in China, and they can make billions of dollars. We will set your family members up with businesses in China and make billions of dollars.
If you don't do this, then we're going to cut you off.
Or how about, let's call in some markers. You don't think we owe markers out there?
That would be a dire mistake.
They sure would.
And I'll tell you why that would be a dire mistake if you cut us off. Because you kill that many Americans by cutting us off from things like antibiotics and stuff. Mm-hmm. Your property that your quote-unquote businesses own will quickly go bye-bye at that point.
Yes, they sure will.
Your citizens that are in this country will quickly leave this country.
Yep.
And the other thing that will happen is when those businesses and those properties go, we'll just take it out of your debt that we owe you to buy it back.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Call in your markers. I mean, they're all the countries in the world have debts, and
sure.
China can't live without America anyway.
No,
because they can't feed their own people.
Right.
Part of the reason that they're coming over here and buying that stuff is so that they can send stuff back over to their own people. Right. Without America, and we truly are the breadbasket of the world, that doesn't function. Part of the reason that any sane world leader will never nuke us, because they know if they do that, where's the food coming from?
Exactly. Yep.
Exactly.
So there's a whole lot of factors that go into it.
Byron, do you know the number of the amount of food that we export to other countries?
Oh no,
I don't know what that percentage is.
I don't know what.
It's got to be large. What do you think, Mike?
Oh, I bet I can find out for you real fast.
That would be great.
I do know this. I looked this up at one point, and this was probably 4 or 5 years, 3 years ago, something like that. And I talked about it on the show. Do you know if America produced all the food that it's capable of producing? You know how many years that it would take us to feed the world for 10 years? You know how many years it'd take us?
10 years?
One
year of producing food up to America's capability to produce food would feed the entire world, everybody on it, for 10 years.
We throw away more produce, milk, things like that, commodities like that.
Stuff like that's a logistic nightmare to get over to other places anyway.
Right. Then, like he said, we could take all that if they let them farmers produce to their max capacity and feed the world, like he said, in one season for the next 10 years.
Yeah. Oh, we could solve the entire
hunger
issue in the United States in 2 or 3 months.
Right. Yeah.
In fact, it says right here, for those that are curious about this, worldatlas.com has the information. The United States exports more food than any other country in the world. Among the top export destinations of the United States are Canada, Mexico, Japan, Germany, and China. The most popular exports from the U.S. are maize, soybeans, and milk. Other common exports include wheat, sugar beet, sugar cane, potatoes, and chicken.
What is maize? Does anybody know what maize is?
Maize is corn.
That's
Maize is corn. So, there are situation solvers to all of it, and I didn't want to get this deep into this particular subject. I just wanted everybody to be aware of what is going on with our government, because they are not supposed to be beholden to anybody but guess who? Us.
Yeah, exactly.
They have forgotten who is supposed to control them. And it's time we let them know who controls them. You have the power to do that. Now, moving on from that subject, right on to another subject that is so near and dear to my heart. I just absolutely had a big smile on my face when I saw this video earlier today. Guess who is back in the news again and is opening his mouth again?
I know this answer.
I know two of them.
Well, I'll give you a hint. When he came here, he went by Barry Sorturo.
Yeah.
Anybody know who that is? You know who that is?
I know who it is. I was hoping one of our listeners would.
I'll just go ahead and give it to you. Barack Obama. And boy, was he trying to play a Bill Clinton when I heard him. I listened to this and almost laughed out loud. Because Barack Obama was sitting there talking about the woke crowd and how most Americans don't care. They're concerned about their home lives. They're concerned about making mortgages. They're concerned about their families and doing things with their families, and they're not being able to do it. And they're not concerned about being politically correct. And the whole entire message was geared straight towards the people that are shaking the pot. In other words, the far left in the Democrat Party, which is pretty much all that's left, of the typical American who has had enough of that nonsense.
Yeah.
So what he's trying to do is exactly what Bill Clinton was trying to do when the Democrat Party got smacked down when he was in office, when the Republicans took over the Senate and the Congress. He is trying to make not just Joe Biden pivot, but he's trying to make basically what is their base now pivot. That's never going to happen.
Right.
That is never going to happen. Because you are talking about a bunch, and I don't care if the woke crowd comes after me, because if you try to cancel me, you will have other issues than having me fired. I promise you. I promise you that. What's happening with this is he is telling them to be quiet. They're never going to. They're a bunch of Looney Tunes that don't understand what being an American is. Because I'm sorry, what you're doing to people in some circumstances by going back 30 years ago and finding something like somebody made an off comment in a high school yearbook and then getting them fired from their jobs. Really? The majority of the people out there, and I don't care how old you are, you have said something that's offensive to somebody from some group. Period. Doesn't matter whether it's black, white, Latino, anywhere in between. You have said something somewhere or done something somewhere that's offensive to one group or another. So when somebody starts having a platform for their voice and you find that, what do? You go have them fired. Or you try to use it against your political opponents and have them removed from competitions, or just not allow them to be elected,
right,
even though those people may have a better message and may have better policies that will help the American public more. But just because they're not of your party and they've said one thing so many years ago that it's not even funny, you're going to get fired. And that's the group that Barack Obama was talking to. He's going, now, children, And that's what he was doing. Make no mistake, that's what Barack Obama was doing. Now, you're going to get us kicked out of the House and the Senate. You need to calm down with this nonsense. And if you can't see how arrogant and condescending that was to his own, to you people that are in his base, they're that way, then you need to wake up and rewatch it and think about it, because this is exactly what he was doing to you. The man is a political machine. He is going to say and do whatever he has to do to get his party, and trust me, it's still his party.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Because Joe Biden's not running this. And I think if you follow the steps back and look at who's in there with Joe Biden, you can find out who's still sort of pulling the strings. It's like a third term for Barack Obama. The man, look, think what you will, say what you will. Barack Obama, now, not then, but now, is the third worst president ever to exist if you look at what he did while he was in office. Say what you will. That's my opinion. Closely followed by, take a guess which one I'm going to say.
Let's see. Jimmy Carter.
Jimmy Carter.
Jimmy Carter.
And
Jimmy Carter.
At the top of the bill for the absolute worst president I have ever experienced, seen, or read about in my life is the president that we have now. It's not even, I don't even feel comfortable going on about what he does and what he says anymore, because I believe the man's not in his right mind.
Well, I do want to back something up to that, Byron, of what I did hear him say, and I think you heard it too, and I want to bring it to your attention, Dave's attention. I know Michael's not here, but our viewers' attention, and that is, all of a sudden, and believe you me, this is all a political move. This is all a political move, and Byron probably knows what I'm fixing to say. All of a sudden, Joe Biden has come out on national news and TV and says that he is going to start implementing Donald Trump's, guess what?
Energy policies.
Well, no. Better than that.
What?
Illegal alien policies. All of a sudden, we're going to start enforcing that. Have you seen this yet?
Look, I heard that.
Yeah.
And my first thought was,
a political move.
No, I didn't think it was a political move at all. I think it's a political move, but I think it's propaganda, because there is no way in the world Joe Biden is going to do that. You know why Joe Biden's going to do that? Because he can't do that. Because if the true base of his party now sees him doing that, there's no way he'll get reelected. None.
Yeah, but I think it's still a move for these midterms right here to try to keep power, like you said, in the House and the Senate.
It's a blatant, bold-faced lie.
I'm not saying it's the truth. I'm just saying it was a move to try to do that. It's a political agenda.
He's trying to triangulate. Is what he's
triangulate. That's the word. There you go.
The Bill Clinton term for you. He's trying to triangulate. That's nonsense.
Yeah.
There is no way that will ever work. It's a bunch of hot air coming from a man who doesn't know what he's talking.
Funny.
It's hilarious because I know it's nonsense, because it's never going to happen. Whenever a Democrat politician finds something that works, they do the opposite. I am not kidding you. You want me to give you the list of it? I can start way back at Woodrow Wilson if you would like to, and we can go through a bunch of it.
Yeah. Right. I was intrigued that and Twitter has exploded over the last couple of days with the ongoing gaffes and whatnot like that. The exchange between a California resident and the president, who said that, oh no, gas has always been $7 a gallon in California, which is not even close.
Not even close.
Not even close.
Somebody please go back and pull the records up and look from when Ronald Reagan was the actual governor of California.
Absolutely. Yeah, and it's
Dollar.
it's very telling to see, and you know, I have to give credit where credit is due when it comes to the Democratic Party, and I don't normally do this, but I have to give credit where credit is due. They have done a very they have tried very hard, and they've put forth a lot of effort on damage control, because it seems like they're having to do it every single day.
Well, of course they're having to do it every single day because Joe Biden doesn't know where he's at.
Yeah.
And I hate doing that because the man obviously has problems. He put somebody in there like that, and now they're wondering why they're going to lose their rear end. I mean, you're putting people like that in power. You're putting people like Raphael Warnock out of Georgia in power.
Right.
And if you want to know about some of his shenanigans, and I do mean shenanigans, you ought to take a look at the church he's a part of and the slumlord building that he owns, where he's kicking out people that owe $30 in rent. And he's getting paid over $7,000 a month for that place. And the way they're handling it gets around all of that stuff as contributions because he's a senator.
Your mom wrote up something here. When we were in China several years ago, we were going through some logs where no one could hear. We met a Chinese journalist who told us she wanted to come to America where she could write journalism that was uncensored. That's exactly right, because everything there is censored, buddy. You write something that's against that government,
they will kill you.
I was just going to say, this isn't prison. This isn't. Don't do that again, Byron. It's absolute death.
I'm intrigued.
Watch what they go back and watch the footage from Tiananmen Square if you don't believe that.
Yes, I was just going to say Tiananmen Square.
Sorry, I did not mean to run you over, Michael.
No, you're fine. I was intrigued by something else that's been going on as well, and I know you're probably going to dip into it. And I know we're pushing getting into 8:30, but
exactly.
I wanted to just say something real quick here. I wanted to get your input on the latest mysterious death by falling out a window in Moscow. It happened again yesterday afternoon when one of the generals of the Russian army mysteriously died after falling out a window. I don't understand how that gravity just gets you every time. And this is, I believe, the 9th or 10th fall from a window that has occurred in the leaders of the Russian military. Was curious to see if you had been keeping up with that, and if you had any thoughts on where we're going with this one.
Well, we know it wasn't Americans because we used to throw Marxists out of helicopters. So he didn't go out of a helicopter, so it was not an American.
Valid.
You still should throw Marxists out.
Anyway.
Dave, can I stop you just real quick? Susan Cunningham says we still keep breaking up. I don't know if something to do on her end.
I'm in and out.
Are you in and out?
Yeah, we will.
Susan, I hope you can hear this right now. That answer was 2010, and nobody got it right, and Michael can attest it. Yeah, there you go. 2010. I'm sorry.
That's my sign language lesson for that.
There you go.
That's good.
In Russia, just like in communist USSR or communist China, when things happen like what has happened in Putin's little war that's going on right now, when things go bad in that war, they not only go bad for the losing country, for them on the battlefield, but they go bad for them at home too. And you're going to hear things like Russian generals falling out of windows, getting run over by buses, strange accidents where the furnace exploded. You're going to hear things like that. That's the way the KGB operated. The KGB still exists, and it is in Russia, and it still operates that way. These are not good people. They're not. And they're going to do what bad people do. When things don't go right, or there is a power struggle, people are going to die.
Hey, we got breaking news real quick, Byron. What you got, Michael?
Hey, just real quick, wanted to give you guys a heads up here. We've just received a report that the West Marion Hospital outside of Ocala is on lockdown due to a shooting that occurred near the hospital area. They're not at the hospital itself, but in that immediate area. Hospital is on lockdown. Multiple law enforcement agencies from the city of Ocala and the Marion County Sheriff's Office are on scene. We don't have any details whether anyone has been hurt or not, but the West Marion Hospital is on lockdown due to a shooting in the area of that facility. As we learn more, we'll make sure we get you updated and posted on our
started
page.
on that. It's that goddamn 820 because I really would like to get on my soapbox about that.
Well,
I'm going to keep my mouth shut on this one
I
until
can
next
put
week.
I can put my tinfoil hat on.
Just give it to us straight up because I could carry this on.
I
and
put
on.
my tinfoil hat on. It's getting close to election time.
Oh, that's all.
Yeah.
That's not tinfoil hat. No. That is spot
Getting
on.
close to election time.
It is.
About time for the next mass shooting.
Yep.
So,
You know,
Unbelievable. Unbelievable. We can't stop killing each other for God knows what. I'm telling you right now, we've got some. What'd you say, Byron? I'll use your word. Evil people out there that don't give a care about human life. I don't care if you're black, green, white, blue, orange, purple, Democrat, Independent, Republican. I don't care. At the end of the day, we're still people.
right.
Yeah.
And you want to take a weapon and just go shoot people up for what reason? Because you're evil. And I don't know, Byron, what can be done about this garbage. We can't stop every evil person in the world because you don't know who's evil. We may walk right by a person tonight that could be the most evil person in the world, and the next thing you know, we didn't know it, and they're shooting up a school, and they're shooting up a hospital, and they're shooting up a mall, or whatever the case may be.
I want to make a point with what you just said, David. Did God stop Cain from killing Abel?
No.
And what did Cain kill Abel with?
Yeah. Used a rock.
He used a rock to kill him.
Yeah.
People have been killing people since the dawn of time. And it is a matter of lack of moral character.
Yeah.
It has nothing to do with
Nothing to do with weapons.
weapons.
Or
You pick up a stick and kill somebody.
But here's the problem, Byron. This is more, I mean, it's like, let me just go back to Columbine. Okay, Columbine happened. Then all of a sudden, and I know there's some things probably that happened before that that's not as prevalent as that. But now, here we are 20, 25, 26 years later, and it's gotten worse. The problem is not getting any better. It's getting worse. And you hear it at every... like Mike said, that's breaking news right there. I heard one this afternoon that happened in Massachusetts or Wisconsin or something.
Yeah,
something happened in Wisconsin. This is happening, Byron, every single day of the week. And I don't have the answer on what to do about it, brother.
The further this nation drifts into being a secular nation, the more this is going to happen. Whether it's God's law, if you call God God, or you want to, it's Jewish law, there has to be a moral compass taught to people, because man is inherently going to do what benefits them.
I agree.
And if you were not taught from a young age that killing is bad, and it's not glorified in your home like it's glorified in some people's homes nowadays,
exactly.
you are going to get this, and I'm going to get, well, some people that grow up don't ever get that. Well, take a look at the number that do. Good for them for getting themselves out of that craziness. But people are inherently going to do what benefits them. Whether that's an evil act or not an evil act, people are going to do that.
Now, let me say this too. Let me tell you what else doesn't help. When me, you, Dave, and Michael was going to school, hey, we had God in schools at that time.
Yeah.
So if you wasn't getting it at home, at least you were getting it at school. Now, you don't even get it at school because it's not allowed in schools anymore. And I'm telling you, when you don't hear the word, as Byron said, hey, we used to say the 10 Commandments. We would have to know that in school.
Yep.
You don't get that anymore in schools because of the way society is now. They have disowned it and disbanded out of schools. So, Byron, like you said, if you're not getting it at home, or if you're not going to church and getting it at church, you're definitely not getting it at school. So guess what? You're not getting the word at all.
Well, if you may get offended in school by saying a prayer, but if you do and you're not of that faith, this country gives you the freedom to just sit there and let it go by.
Let it go by. When do
But because you're living in this country, I think you should respect our beliefs.
Other people's beliefs, respect other people's beliefs, and if you've got a classroom where 20 of those kids, their parents go to church, they go to church, and you have 10 of those kids who don't, then those 10 kids should respect those 20 kids just like those 20 kids should respect those 10 kids. If they want to say a prayer, they should be able to say a prayer.
See,
the other 10 kids don't have to participate. Fine. Not an issue.
Right.
That is not an issue at all.
Go in the living room and put your iPad in and watch violence on that.
Well,
It's all over the place.
here's my question that I want to know. When did we start becoming so weak of moral character that when somebody offends us, we have to do what we're doing now?
Wow.
Because I can tell you, I get offended all the time by stuff. And you know what I do? I may fuss about it a little bit, but I go on with my life.
Exactly.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, and I use the same example. There are 3 people I consider close friends that we are complete polar opposites of the political spectrum.
Sure.
And one of them lives in North Carolina now, which is great because then I don't have to talk to him all the time. But that being said, though, the point is that I don't have to necessarily agree with the ideology to be respectful or to be friends with people. And those people that are so polarized with their beliefs that they drag others down to their level that is what bothers me. If I want my grandchildren to be able to experience all facets of life, whether it's my experiences or friends, family, neighbors, whatever it happens to be, they should be allowed to do that. And I think what we have done is that we have created an environment of entitlement that says my opinion is right, and I don't necessarily have to respect your opinion because I don't believe or I don't agree with you. And the parents have fostered that into the children to where now it's become ingrained that where right is wrong and suddenly wrong seems to be right.
I was with my friend this, reunion weekend. Me and David Rodgers were talking about old days. And I remember me and David, we got into a little deal. We wasn't against each other. We did some things at the school that I shouldn't have done. Well, they found out about it. And my principal at Calmer Junior High School, named Charles Moody, God rest his soul, called my dad, said, "What do you want me to do?" You know what my dad said? "Take that paddle, that big, nice paddle that's got all them 38 holes in it,
Let them have it.
and you let him have it until his ass end is wore out." That is the way it used to be. He hit me 3 times. Then you know what he said? He says, just to make you remember, he went and got Coach Davis. Coach Davis, nice, big, strong guy, good-looking guy. All the girls loved him. Brought him into the office, and he swatted me 3 times. The worst tail whooping that I ever got until I got home.
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
Papa Charles Rodgers said, "How many licks did you get?"
Get hold of it.
6. I said 6. Did they hurt? Yes, sir. Well, take your sore tail, go right out there in them woods, and you find me a big switch. You find me a switch, and you bring me back a switch because I'm going to tear that tail up too. So smart, Dave. Oh, smart Dave.
Oh,
yeah, boy.
You didn't, David. You didn't.
I did.
I
I went and got a little twig. I brought that back.
That was a mistake.
Oh, big mistake. He took it and crushed it with one hand. Don't come back to this house until you get me a switch. This time I came back. That thing was that big around. He hit me twice with that. Thought he broke my butt bone.
You didn't do that again, did you, David?
I never did anything again.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's
I
straightened
learned.
out quick.
That was that he struck you right in the gluteus painfulus.
I swear to God, oh my God. But that's the way it used to be. Now you can't do that.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
This is how our society 40 years ago for me, that was 40 plus years ago for me, and 30 probably for you guys, except you, right, Dave? I know you rode with the Pony Express, but that's okay. No, I love you, man. But that's the way it used to get handled. And you know what?
Then.
Yeah, but you know what? I didn't call the DFC, on my dad. I didn't call that on my mom.
No.
You know what? I took it, and I went on, and guess what Byron just said? What did he whisper in my ear? You didn't do that again, did you?
Nope.
Not a single time, baby boy.
Yeah, my mom was the disciplinarian, but when she said, "I'm calling your dad," that's the get down and pray moment.
See, and then like for me, I can remember once my father paddling me because all they had to do was look at me, and I knew. He didn't.
Dad was military too. Though.
Yeah, oh yeah, Dad was military, and that's the thing about it. You asked my daughter. My daughter is the great mom. My bear cub is 4 years old, sweetest little girl. Her mother, my daughter, does a great job with her. To this day, I can look at my daughter and give her that look, and she'll start crying. The same way I used to do when my dad would look at me. And if you start with them the young. And she'll do it now. My daughter will look at my granddaughter and give her that look, and Emma starts to cry, and I'm like, got it honest. Good. Because you have to have a healthy respect for parental guidance. And that's what's happened.
You know what?
Parents have tried so hard to be their friend and not their
there
parents.
You go. There you
they
go.
have absolutely allowed the disrespect and the discourse to take over. And now we're getting calls in common. I work in dispatch. I'll get a call. Yes, my child, he won't listen. He won't go to bed, or he won't do what I'm telling him to do. I need the police to come out here. Ma'am, we are not the baby daddy, okay? Why are you calling the police to do something you should have been doing and you can still do? I bet you go find a switch. You probably, first couple of times, he might balk at you. After that, I bet you can control the situation. Now, I can't say that on 911. But
no.
Lord knows I want to. But it all goes back to Byron, as you were talking about earlier. It's literally a matter of respect.
And, well, yes, it is, and it snowballs into adult life too, because a child that doesn't respect their parents doesn't end up 9 times out of 10 does not end up respecting the law.
Correct.
Because it's authority.
That's correct.
All right,
a parent should be authority.
Yes.
I just want to. Jay LeClaire out of Richardson, Texas, is watching. How about that? Richardson, Texas. How about that? Hey, Jay, what's going on, brother? Leanne Nelson, my half sister, she's watching. Steve Underhill is watching.
Which half?
The better.
Got it.
Yeah, better looking than me.
Gotcha.
Terry Wilkerson Anderson said it's a heart issue.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah, I agree with that
I
too.
agree with that.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah.
It is a combination of issues, and
but ultimately it's a matter of the heart. You have to have it in your heart to discipline a child the way it needs to be, and then we as adults have to have the heart to respect each other, regardless of our political affiliations, regardless of our gender, orientation, any of that crap. I mean, there's a lot of things about a lot of people I do not like. but I respect everybody and will give them free and equal opportunity to talk and will treat them with the respect that they deserve.
They don't call it tough love because it's easy.
That's
That's
exactly
it.
right.
Nancy Esford's watching. Bobby Gibson's watching there from Birmingham, Alabama. Leanna said, my sister said, neither is discipline, which we got into. Yeah. Robert McGee said, we used to get New Testament Bibles all through grade school. I remember that. We did. Remember the little Bible, the little book?
Yeah.
Oh, man. I used to love that thing. I bet I still have mine. I'm going to try to bring it.
One of them.
Do you got one of them at the house? Yeah. Kenneth Crawford's watching. Mac John's watching. Leanna says, my daughter, which is related to me, of course, is a teacher in Richmond, and she worries every minute she can't focus on teaching.
No, she can't. Because the children have no discipline anymore. And you try to discipline them, and they're disrespectful, and you have to send them out of class. And then they come back even more disrespectful.
Yeah,
Yep.
exactly.
Dealt with it.
Austin Stevens, Michael's fixing to give you a weather report here in just a second. This weather's beautiful. Glad the heat is gone for now. But Michael said not for long.
We'll talk about that
in a minute.
Just a minute.
Shirley said, when I was a media specialist and I did the morning announcements, I always said we will have a minute of silence. You could pray or not. Up to you.
And that's the way it should be.
Yeah. That's it. That's exactly
I wanted to bring up one more thing in closing after you get finished.
All right, yeah. Bobby Gibson said, then your dad gave it to you when you got home. Of course, I just told that, yeah. The frame rate on the stream is lagging really bad, and y'all are cutting out from time to time. We know that, absolutely, Austin.
Yeah, we're trying.
Coach Davis lifted me off the floor with his paddle after football practice. Yeah, he lifted my tail up in the principal's office, too. Oh, yes, I had get mine, too, and those are worse, David. Yeah, now you know. Mama used one of Daddy's leather belts on me and my brother. Switches always broke. Not unless you get a log and bring that back. Because I'm going to tell you, when they tell you to go find a switch, like Michael said, don't bring back a twig.
Yeah,
oh, no.
It's only going to get worse.
It just gets worse from there. Dave Jr. said he was more scared of Grandma Marie than he was of his dad. Lots of laughs.
I imagine so.
Grandma Marie didn't play no games.
Probably had one of those old metal fly swatters, too.
So she did.
Yeah. Thank you, Leanne. I appreciate it. Candace Jones is watching. What you got, Byron, real quick, and I'm going to turn it over to Mike for the win.
Well, in closing, I want to say a couple of things. First off, does anybody remember anything about a certain former president's home being raided here about, I guess it was about 3 or 4 months ago?
Yeah, I know that guy.
Vaguely, yeah.
Yeah, vaguely.
Have I heard anything about it since?
No.
Other than that it was unconstitutional.
Know why it was unconstitutional? And the media is not saying anything about it because they don't want their party to look bad for this? Because they violated their own search warrant.
Yep.
It will go nowhere. And I hope Donald Trump sues all of them to no end to get all of that stuff put back in his house.
Yeah, absolutely.
All of it.
It's fact.
Yeah, Leanne, it is. We're having just a little bit of internet issues, and we're going to be working on that. So hopefully you can catch at least the bits and pieces of it. But Byron's got one more thing.
And then one more thing. We have another thing going on. And we've talked about Jan 6 before. You go back and watch what the president said at the time. It was nothing like what they're saying he said.
Oh, absolutely.
If you watch the speech, you'll hear him say, "Go peacefully to the Congress and let them hear your voices." Basically, is what he said.
Yeah.
Then we had a bunch of people who were allowed into the Capitol building, and if you don't believe that, all you got to do is watch the police move the barricades. The people didn't move the barricades, so they went in the Capitol building. And they were taking pictures with this one, and they were taking pictures with that one, and they were taking pictures with the other. There was one person that supposedly was killed in that, and she was shot. Supposedly, because now there's evidence saying it didn't happen inside the building. So, all of that being said, and now what we're hearing about Jan 6 is that it was an insurrection. And my question to every thinking person who understands the English language and knows what an insurrection is, where are all the dead politicians?
Yeah.
Yep.
Where are they? Because What happened on Jan 6 was no insurrections. It was a bunch of people inside of the Capitol building taking pictures with police in crazy buffalo hats.
Yeah.
There was no insurrection.
It's true. Yeah.
Well, Nancy Pelosi's laptop was stolen.
I doubt that.
Nancy Pelosi's laptop could have been stolen out of her car. How does that make that an insurrection? I wish it would have been stolen and the information given to the right people, because I'm sure we could find a whole lot out about what she's doing crazy, but that's another story.
Yeah.
This was not an insurrection. This is a whole big deal to do about keeping Donald Trump from being able to run again. I'm going to say this because I want everybody to clearly understand this. I supported Donald Trump as president. I voted for Donald Trump again for president because of the job Donald Trump did in the 4 years he was in office.
Okay.
I am not a Donald Trump fanatic. I believe he was a really good president. He was the best president since Ronald Reagan. And I would have him elected again. Part of the problem that's being fomented in this country is anybody that's a Democrat is calling anybody that votes for Donald Trump a kook. Mm-hmm. Because they're supporting this maniac. Donald Trump's not a maniac. Mm-mm. No maniac goes in and turns our economy around like Donald Trump did.
Yes.
And no maniac makes our country energy independent. His policies are what matter to me. Correct. I don't care less if he gets on stage and he offends everybody and their grandmother. As long as he is running this country right, I can forgive that. My allegiance is to this republic, not the politicians running it. Unless they're running it like it should be, and he did. And that's why I voted for him. It's why I'll vote for him again if he runs again. And I'm going to make one last statement. I love you, Ron DeSantis. You are a great governor.
I was getting ready to say this.
Please, and I know I'm going to make some of our fans upset at this, please do not do what people are saying you are going to do and put your hat in this next election. Florida needs you for another term before you do that.
I
don't think he's going to. I really don't.
And I believe there has been a lot of talk about that and a lot of speculation about that.
Oh, he would make a great president. But I mean, Florida needs him for another term.
Yes.
Here's the question. Depending on how things progress, would he accept a vice presidential invitation?
Okay, now look, I am about to scare everybody and their grandmother with this. If he does either one of those, think about the possibility of Charlie Crist
and now just get ready to say that.
Somebody, an unknown Republican.
Mm-hmm.
Probably not going to win.
Probably not.
But do you want Charlie Crist after what he's done?
He don't even know which party he belongs to.
He was an independent, and he's a Democrat, and before that he was a Republican. He's a political opportunist.
He's a weather vane. Yeah, whichever way the wind blows, that's where he goes.
Look, he needs to be here until that debacle is gone. Because Charlie Crist really was not that great of a governor to begin with. He did some good things, but then all of a sudden, he fell off the deep end. It was like he hit his head. So I don't know, but please, Ron, if your people are watching this, which they may be, please don't do that.
Yeah, and he's exactly right. We'll get into more of this in the further shows and as the election comes. Like Michael said, it's 3 weeks away. Please, if you're not a registered voter, please register to vote. Please vote. And if you are a registered voter, as Byron has asked you, please go vote. It is so very important, specifically right now at this time on these midterms, I assure you.
And let me tell you something. Nobody knows better than the guy in this seat about what happens with voter apathy.
Voter apathy will kill
because there
this
is leadership, if you want to call it that is in place because of voter apathy. And Had the votes went out, it would be a different story.
Well,
Get out
and
vote.
again, we
That's all I'm
talked
saying.
about that, yes. And, I don't want to bring up that again because, hey,
No, it's
I
over.
thought you
It's-
ran a beautiful
it's
campaign.
over,
It's over.
and
It's
and we
done.
moved on.
But voter apathy,
Yeah. I mean,
and that's
get-
what happens when
get
people
out and vote. That's all I'm saying.
Now,
Get out.
now that I've said that, I want everybody to clearly understand something. You have a choice in this next election. You can continue to go on in the direction this country is going because that's what the Congress and Senate is going to do if it remains blue.
Yeah.
Or you can turn it back to some people that have some common sense. Will you have to watch them? Will you have to call them and tell them that when they're doing wrong? It's like any politician, you're going to have to. But we have to get control of this government, its spending, its border policies, its policies on energy. We are destroying our country. And it's because of who is in power. People can take it the way they want to if they're Democrats. But if you look at it from a common sense perspective and take a look at what's happened, this is not your grandmother and granddad's Democrat Party. This is something out of this book, and they are trying to literally destroy this country from within.
Yep.
Please vote.
There you go.
All right. Manny Covers, still player of the week so far. Voting ends Thursday. So 110 to like 1 to 1 to 1.
Yeah. Exactly.
I mean, you should vote for Manny Covey. I mean, my goodness, that kid had a great game. 71, 15 yards. 215, is that what it was? 250 yards, 2 touchdowns, and a 71-yard scamper.
There you go.
It's just, it's...
You've seen it. Me and Byron seen it from the press box. When that kid took off through that A-gap,
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
it was like, I couldn't call it fast enough. That kid was so fast. Before me and Byron could really get it out of our mouths, he was in the end zone.
It looked faster than 4-4
Four.
to me.
It looked faster than 4-4 to
It looked
me.
faster than 4-4.
So, but anyway, Michael, what about some weather before we go?
So let's take a look here at the tropics real quick. Again, nothing going on in the screen for the next 48 hours. Honestly, nothing going on for the next 2 weeks as far as I'm concerned. There is a little bit of disturbed weather down in the Bay of Campeche, located there in the southern Gulf of Mexico. Don't get worked up over it. Nothing's coming that way. The Gulf and the Caribbean, wide open, clear, beautiful skies over the next few days. Don't have anything to worry about. Allergy forecast, also some good news there. Take a look at these numbers. Tomorrow, a little on the high side, but it's in the medium range. Numbers drop off as we go through the week. Again, no rain in the forecast. The ragweed has started to back off. The chenopod's are backing off. Grasses getting a little bit better. We're going to be getting into the fall season. We're going to get some more wind coming in. That's going to help reduce some of the pollen numbers. We'll keep an eye on that as we move along. Oh, excuse me. Regionally, check out the high temperature in Nashville of 58 degrees. What a beautiful day it's going to be. Tallahassee, 66, home of the Florida State Seminoles. Charlotte at 59, Orlando, the hot spot in the region at 70 degrees. Otherwise, Pascagoula at 64. Everywhere from coast to coast across the from the state of Florida, from Nashville to Orlando, Charlotte to Pascagoula, beautiful sunny skies. Going to be fantastic conditions over the next 24, 48 hours. Enjoy it while you can because it is going to warm up. Check this out. Tomorrow, honestly, in my opinion, the best of the next 3 days. Highs around 70. Probably wind chills will keep it in the feel like 60s as you go through the day. Thursday into Friday, still beautiful conditions, but the temperatures are going to rebound. By Monday of next week, highs of 85 to 87 degrees. We'll be pushing 90 as we make our way into next week, but don't worry about it. Let's focus on this week. You're going to have a great weather system coming in, beautiful skies. One last thing that's important, though, low humidity levels, a little bit of a breeze. Increased fire danger. So if you're going to be doing any burning outside, please make sure you take care of yourself and don't do anything silly with fire. And also make sure that you follow the rules as it comes to any controlled burning that you're going to be doing on your land.
All right. What a great show tonight, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you, guys.